Good afternoon and welcome back to part 2 of our Hawaiian Applique. And this time I'm going to show you how to do Hawaiian Applique Fusible. It is traditionally done by hand, and it is a very time-consuming activity. But for those of you that end up in a doctor's office or something and you want to, have something to take with, it's fabulous. But I prefer to get my blocks done. So when I thought of so many of you doing this block, here's what it's going to look like. Doing this block for the very first time and maybe never having hand pieced, I thought, come on Judy, let's think of something that they can do to be successful, have fun, and want to do more. Okay, so I have mailed you included in your kit. Let's look at the table here. Here's your pattern that's in the book on page 18. And this is the one, you follow all the directions on here, and I believe it's on page 3. You follow all those directions for doing traditional hand needle turn applique. I included needles and so forth. Okay, but I decided, as I looked through different activities, the reason you can't do this by Fusible is because it's so thick. It's 8 layers of fabric, and it's going to be 8 layers of Fusible, and that's a lot. So cut that in half, and now I've only got 4 layers of Fusible, 4 layers of fabric, and I think it's doable. Not only do I think it, I found out it was. Here's how your block is going to turn out in a fraction of the time. I think it turned out really pretty. Now, when I sent you the fabric, I hope you noticed that you can do either way. You can make your dolphin lavender and your background print, or vice versa. So for this one, I'm going to do a lavender dolphin. So first thing you do is you take your fabric for your lavender, and you're going to cut this down according to the directions to 10.5-inch square. You do the same thing to your fusible web. All right, so now I've got my fusible web, 10.5-inch square, and my fusible fabric ironed together. Okay, now I'm going to take the pattern. I'm going to move the book here because a little bit when you cut out this pattern, you want to be careful to see what you have to leave. So this time, it's very important when you're learning to quilt. Management of your fabric and your tools and all that is so important. And so this is an easy way to manage your tools and so on. Okay, so I'm going to cut off, here we go, the edges, but I'm leaving that word center right there and here. Whoops, almost got it. Okay, so now here's my pattern, and I've got it all labeled. Okay, and that's very important. And then I added the word bias. Okay, so how did I get here? All right, so we're going to take our piece that we've got folded with the fusible web in there. All right, and so we have 8 layers, but that's manageable. So we folded it first like a hot dog, and then one more time, and then one more time just to get that crease. Keep watching. Then you're going to open that up to just 4 layers for our pattern. We want to match our center. That's, well, which center? Now you're going to match your straight folds, your raw edges, and so on. Okay? So we're going to lay it just like that. Does that make sense? You're going to take your clips now, and very carefully, probably the most important one is right here. You want to be sure this excess is going to be cut away. So we're going to come along like this. How's our taping going there, Angie? Is it taping? We've had a little technical difficulties today, but hey, overall, I think you've enjoyed the videos. I know I've enjoyed making them, so. All right, so we're coming along here. Okay, so I'll continue to, now what do I do? Hand applique, we leave the 1/16 of an inch in, right? Because we turned that under. But fusible, we're going to cut it away. So this is what I did. I took through the, I'll take this one out of the oven now. So I've got this one that I've cut everything away on the dotted line. Make sense? Okay, now this is the scary part. We're going to open it up. And when we open it up, I want you to be sure and save your scraps. I'm going to show you some tricks you can do with those. All right, so here we go. I'll get that out of the way. We're going to take our clips off, move them like this. All right, we're moving our pattern all on the dotted line, and here we go. We're going to open it up, and look at that. You know, I kind of like the lavender one. I don't know. I don't know which one I'll put in the final quilt. And speaking of the final quilt, I'm going to try and do that this next week. And that way, Angie's laughing. Don't laugh. Nay, nay. Okay, then we're going to show you how easy it is to remove that paper. You're going to take a straight pin, score it gently, crack it, and gently peel it away, making sure you only get the paper. If you get close to that, you'll see it should still be shiny. If it's not shiny, it's not right. Okay. All right, let's see if I can remove all of this. And look at that, it just kind of comes off very easily. This is why you don't use Steam-A-Seam 2, which is another product I just love. But Steam-A-Seam 2 is sticky. And so at this point, you'll have this big old mess. All right, let's do, ooh. Let's lay it on our background. I don't know, folks. You may have to vote. I kind of like that. What do you think? Wouldn't it be pretty maybe to do, you fall in love with this, I just know you will, and you'll like it so much, do a whole quilt of reverses. Now, excuse me. Now, if you hadn't cut those away, these noses would be touchy, but because you cut that little piece away, Angie, which do you like better?
I like this one.
You like this one?
I like that.
I think I like this one. I'll see which looks better next to the other. So then you're going to take your iron, your pressing sheet, you're going to iron that all in place. Excuse me. Then what I like to do, remember I said save these scraps? I save the scraps, I fuse them, and you want those odd shapes. It's always good to practice and see which color of thread you like and also which technique. I have two different buttonhole appliques on my machine. One is a little thicker than the other. I do like the yellow. I don't know. I still have to do some pondering on this. And so there's that. I put the number of my stitch, and voila, it's done. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back in a few minutes with paper piecing. Bye-bye.